Welcome to the Art Jennings Manufacturing Company, where we are dedicated to showing you how not to spend money and yet be very successful in your screen printing business. So, for example, here's your darkroom. It's just a yellow bug light. You can buy this at a hardware store. That's all you really need. What about screen printing supplies? Well, go to artjennings.com. There's a video about all the free screen printing supplies that are available to you. So you want to watch that and take notes. Also on artjennings.com, if you go down the navigation bar to exposure units and click on exposure units, you'll find the drawing and photographs, all the information you need to make your own exposure units for under $100. So there's a big savings. How about the press? That's the next thing. And what we're going to talk about today is a press that you can make out of wood that'll work amazingly well. The only negative is it will not be as fast as a professional press where you rotate the screens. Here you're going to place the screen into a triangular position, print, and remove the screen. Take the shirt off, put the next shirt on if you're doing one color. If you're doing multicolor, you take the first screen off, which is your first color, put your second screen down. The second screen will register exactly in position, print the second color, and then remove that. So you can do all this with a wooden press. Now, in order to make this work, we're going to use the exact same features that are on our professional equipment that we've been selling for 34 years. And for 34 years, the original owners of Art Jennings equipment have had the right to return that equipment any time for a credit of 75% of what they paid, no strings attached. So if they're an original owner, they can send it back, and that's what their credit's going to be. No other company will do that for obvious reasons. So our equipment's really got to be good, and now we're going to take those same features and put it into the wooden press so that you get the same advantages. You just won't have the same speed. So what are those features? So here we go. First, you need to be on a Newman frame. This is a Newman frame. 3 of the sides are aluminum tubes, and the mesh goes into slots that are in this frame. All the best shops in America use Newman frames. Anybody who's not on Newman might be a nice guy, but when it comes to screen printing, they're ignorant. Now, why do I say that? And the answer is, and there's a video on artjennings.com to explain this in greater detail. When you stretch mesh to its potential, within 2 hours, you've lost 25% of the tension. So if you're pulling your squeegee across that mesh, the mesh is going to shift within the frame and you're out of registration. But with a Newman frame, you just put your wrench on these corners and rotate the rollers, and you recover the lost tension and in fact raise the tension to a higher level. This is critical because we want really top quality work. We want to be able to butt register colors like the white and red stripe of the American flag. It also gives us much better control over how much ink we're putting down, and we eliminate things like wiping the bottom of screens. So if you own a press and you wipe the bottom of screens, you have under tension screens. Get a Newman screen, you'll solve your problem. Now you'll also notice that the image here is a patch. That's capillary film. We start everybody new with capillary film. Liquid emulsion is fine. That's the old-fashioned option. This is better. There are a lot of reasons for it. I'm not going to go into the details. And you don't use very much. So what do I do with this open area? Well, this is the plastic sheet that comes off of capillary film. I cut it up and I put it in the screen around the edges, or you could use wax paper. And then when you finish printing, all you do is scrape out the excess ink, take the screen to the garbage, and you just pull all this plastic out along with the packing tape. And now your screen is clean. No chemicals, no fuss, no muss. Makes cleaning screens really easy. So that's a much better solution than coating the whole screen with liquid emulsion and then having to clean it afterwards. So you want to take a look at using capillary film. So when we put that Newman frame into this wooden press, we know the mesh is not going to move within the frame. Now we got to make sure the frame is not going to move. Here are the critical features of this wooden press. First of all, the platen is 3/4 inch thick. It's called MDF. It's sold by Home Depot and Lowe's. And it's basically a fiber board, medium density fiber board. And the real advantage of this is that if you leave your exposure unit or your flash unit over too long, you cannot warp this. Most of the screen printing companies provide a white platen, which is melamine. Melamine warps very easily to heat, and that's not good. This does not warp. The negative of this is it absorbs liquids, so you don't want to be putting mineral spirits on it. We don't anyway. We never use mineral spirits. We only use water, and we cover this with a sheet of double tape, which is a plastic barrier. But in any event, the next critical thing is that when you lay the screen in here, the screen is touching these two piers. And so we are controlling the height of the screen so that the screen is not touching the platen. It's above the platen by 1/8 of an inch. And when we put the screen in, we're going to push the screen up against this block. Now there are other holes in the platen arm, so if we go to larger screens, that we can move the block back and adjust for that. Now, here's how the screen goes in there. We first lay a sheet of 1/8 inch plexiglass on the platen. Presumably you've just completed printing and the platen may have adhesive on there, so you don't want to have to clean. That's a nasty job. You just lay the plexiglass over the adhesive. Now you have a clean work surface upon which you can place your negative, or your positive rather, for registering screens. And if you have a professionally made press, you definitely want to do this. You want to get the plexiglass, and when you bring your screen down, you want the screen touching the plexiglass in the four corners while the off contact bolt is controlling the color arm. So when you pull the plexiglass out and bring the screen down, the screen is parallel to the platen. I guarantee you, if you have a professionally made press, your press is out of adjustment. We see this every day. The presses that are shipped by the manufacturers are out of adjustment, and the screen printers don't know that, and they don't know how to fix it, and they have no way of telling. You spend $7 or $10 on a piece of plexiglass, you're going to get the shock of your life. And then you'll find out why a lot of your printing problems occur. So in any event, we put that down first. Then the next thing we do is we take the screen and we place it on the press.